Lincoln had a crazy wife. Socrates had a crazy wife. And when it was asked whether it was good for people to be married, he says, yes, if you're married and you have a good wife, that's good for society. And if you have a bad one, you become a philosopher. I became a philosopher. So, what was the question again now?
The question is, the first part of it is, what should she do with a weak or bestial husband?
Well, she has the common sense. Do I assume she has the common sense?
Well, that's what he says.
Remember what I said a little while ago? I said when the husband falls, the woman picks up the musket and it stands in place of her husband. A husband dies and the woman loves her husband. She stands as the head of the home, and the children will not mind the mother being the boss, because God is neither male nor female. If it's you see that? There's a divine order. If we have a perfect home and the father has gone away for 6 months or gone to battle, and the mother loves the father, and the children know the mother loves the father, the children know that, then the mother acts in place of the father properly. See that? It's like the president is the commander-in-chief. I don't know what a good one he's going to be, but never mind. But ordinarily speaking, we have a good president, and you have the general respects the orders of the president. May not always understand them, but sir, yes sir. But then the colonels and the officers, all the way down to the rank and file, they all respond to one another because the order is set in place. So the woman can play the role of a man only if she loves the husband, or failing that, in her own private life she's found God. And therefore, she's no longer a female, she's a woman. The purpose of a man is to bring the woman out of the female. See, a fallen woman is a female. I don't like the word female, generally speaking, when they say there's a female, the lady was robbed a bank was a female, or they found a female body. See, because female is a female dog, a female fly, a female anything. But it's a woman. The trouble is a female is less than a woman. It's a female creature. A woman is a person inside the female body. And a male could be the mailman, but sometimes the milkman. But a male is not a man, unless he's a mailman. No. But see, it's only the man in the male body that has respect. Otherwise, it's just a body. It's not worth anything. It's worthless. A man hasn't got a spirit, but who gives the spirit? Where is the order of the spirit? How does a man know how to be a man unless God has planted something of himself in here and revealed himself through that man? See? So my job is to bring the men, the men out of the female. Excuse me. There's actually no. Don't get confused me now. My job is to help draw the man out of the male. And God will do that. He will draw the man out of the male. So it's not a mailman. So it's something different. It's completely different when it's there. It's not vacuous. It's not lustful. It's not violent. It's not an animal, which has predictable behaviors. All over the world, all alike. The same with the women, all alike. But so when they're women, they're not all alike. They're different. So therefore, by drawing the man, or putting the man, or drawing the man out of the male, then the man can draw the woman out of the female. It will come towards her. The spirit of the woman would come towards the man with affection and leave behind the devil boss. You understand how I said that? It leaves behind the devil boss. But it can only be done if there's something respectable to be respected. You can't demand respect when you're not respectable. When it's a beast, when it's a wimp, how can you respect a beast or a wimp? Except it uses more force to make you cringe and give. And so now I'm going to come to what I needed to say at the very, very beginning. Gentlemen, if this country is going to be saved, you might keep this as a clip. If the country is going to be saved, it's not going to be saved any way you think, except by this. It's the only way it's going to be saved. Men must become men. Dignified, patient, strong, not easily given to the affections of a woman. If you're looking for a good wife, gentlemen, then the women who are decent and good are looking at you and they see all the women trying to get you and you don't get got. You don't easily fall. You don't fall at all. That's the one. You're the one she's going to respect. And you'll get a respectable one. See? Because you'll draw her towards you. She's watching you from a distance. She's seeing all the men, even if you're handsome and good looking and dashing, she sees how you deal with it dignified and not yield yourself to her or press your advantage as if it were an advantage. It isn't. See? Because she knows then that if you are that way, she'll be safe with you. Well, what safety can you have with a man who is prone to give himself to every woman and sow his wild oats continuously? Correct? Zero. And this is what's encouraged by your socialist system and the schools. It's only sex, stupid. It's more than that. Because there's a right way of doing sex. There's a right way of making someone's dinner. There's a right way of giving someone money and helping them. And a wrong way of helping them and helping yourself to them. That's what the government does. It helps you. But it's really helping themselves to you. If you allow yourself to be helped. If you're weak and you need that help and you get the wrong kind of help, it's better to say, no, eat it. I don't need it. Keep your money. Better eat dirt. See? So, gentlemen, if you could do that, if men could respect women and remember that they are someone's daughter, and to think to yourself, would I like to do, other men to do to my daughter what I'm just about to do to this woman? What I'm just thinking about doing to her with great relish. Because that's what it's in the thought. Who has in mind has already committed it, basically, isn't it? True. Jesus says you should not commit adultery, but if you have it in your mind, you've already done it. Same thing, pornography. It's in your head. You can have sex with a woman in your head and you're done. The thing that's behind the woman is still in your head from having women. If you have a woman, you're not having the woman inside you. You have the spirit that comes with it. That's the problem with human beings. There's an inherent spirit, a nature, so that if you're imagining having sex with a woman in your head, it's because there's a puppeteer inside your head, which is like a devil, like a dark side, and it will give you the offering and give you the puppets, the images, the holodeck, like in Star Trek, yeah. And so if you get into that, it gets into you, and it will drive you insane, and that is the cause of suicide and violence, every kind of murder. It leads to that. It's the worst. Pornography is the worst of it. You think you can get away without women. You have trouble with women, then you can have trouble without them because you've got pornography, and then you don't have to have a body. You can have it in your head. But once it's in your head, you can't get it out. It keeps getting in deeper because you employ it. You call it up to serve you, and it does serve you. And behind those images, there's a puppeteer. And that's the devil. Don't you ever forget it. So there's no therapy for this. There's only salvation for it. I hope I'm not getting off track here. But I just want to say to the gentleman, if you will just not press your advantage, be a gentleman. It may be a little difficult, and if you are involved too much with sex with your wife, you'd better do it less and less and less, because less is more, and more is less. See, I find that if I eat with my food, yesterday I had a handful of berries, blueberries. I had a little salad. I don't know, I forget, I said just a small bit of porridge, raw. That was it. And I'm able to see people eating so much and I eat so little. And I'm free. So more is less, I'm less free. Less is more, I'm more free. See? So I'm less free or more free. Which more do you want? See? And so less sex is better sex. Matter of fact, less sex is so good you don't want it anymore after a while.
You don't want the strings.
Yeah, because all the strings are gone. But then you arrive at a new phase. Your wife becomes your daughter. You see, your real daughters will run off with another husband, which is proper. They will find a husband hopefully as good as the dad. So you'll be left alone. The only daughter you will have is your wife. And she can't be your wife forever because the wife's the whore. You can bang her all the way you want, excuse me. You can't just go on doing that and doing that because you just die to it. Because the strings are never broken. There's never any thought, philosophical thought, that woman has to return to man as man returns to God, and as woman came out of man. And because of the original sin, men came out of woman. Now, the process of marriage, so shall a husband, man, leave his mother and father, be joined to the wife. But the process is to become the man that Adam was. But the man that Adam was beget a daughter, a clone of himself, the extension of himself. That's the one that stays with him. She doesn't see there's the real friend. That's the real friend. You hold your hand of your daughter and you take her everywhere and she loves you. See that? It's your eternal daughter. And she loves you and you have fun with her and you play and you forget the past. You forget the banging of the past, pardon the expression. Because that was part of, the journey. So you can beget kids.
Right.
See? I hope I don't use awkward language, but it does make a point. There's certain words you have to use, otherwise it just doesn't quite come across.
Banging is a very good word. No, really, when you think about it, that's what you're doing, just banging.
Okay.
That's enough already.
Wait,
Start banging my head right now.
It's about the same thing.
have another question from John here. He says, I gave too much authority to my wife and she left me. I started meditating last week and began to see where I went wrong. What do I do now? She filed for divorce, and because I let her manage our finances, she secretly bought a house before she left.
Too bad. You done it. It's like water under the bridge, isn't it?
You have kids?
Oh dear. Well, those questions. I have a lady that I'm walking her through that same process, and she almost made it. And the husband was going to divorce, and she got to be patient and not upset, and everything was going better. And she called a couple of weeks later, everything's going fine, and the man saying, yes, it's going fine too, I'm so much better, happier. And then she got upset. Something happened, and she couldn't do it one more time. There's something about being upset that's empowering, falsely empowering. See? And then when it's empowering, then you have an ego that's wants power. And that is devastating, because then if it's not in the man, see, if a woman can hold her ground long enough and deal with the weak man she's got, with the strong man she's got, which she has created.
It's a good chance you could come out.
Well, but she's created for the sense of judgment her mother had. You see, judgment is a very strange thing. It's the loser's victory. It's the loser's sense of worth, because you can judge, you can set a person up to fail, especially women who are the weaker sex. They are the weaker sex. And they're the less intelligent sex. I'm sorry, they are. If you have the perfect man and the perfect woman, which you don't find
The ideal, yeah.
the man's got a bigger brain and he's got more responsibility. He's got the whole responsibility on his shoulders. He's got to be stronger, he's got to be sensible. But he can also be more rotten than a woman. You never see a woman cult leader. Hardly ever. Very rarely. It's all man, part woman, part devil, because he's got a little bit of all of it in him. See? That's why the women always look like the victim, always look like the sweet ones, but she's Typhoid Mary. She hardly gets the disease. It's the men that get the violence and the craziness, and the jails are full. She's tied more. She infects, and she is the generational disease to the man. But men love the disease. They love the relief from. They all have egos, and this is difficult things. I won't go round and round with that one. I have to stop that because there's a tendency you'll judge me for this. But women are addicted to judgments. And so they feel secure, much more secure with the man that fails, because you can always feel superior over him. And so there's a tendency to hope that a man is strong enough to deal with all of this, but he's dealing with all these judgments that have come through all the generations. There's generations of women that set men up to fail, because the only triumph a woman can have, if there's going to be any triumph at all, any worth at all, is to make a man worthless. Because the men are worthless, you might as well make them more worthless. Because there's not any use for them anyway. So you either make a man worthless and you make him serve you and enslave you and take all his money and then marry another man and take his money, or you become a slave of that man and he degrades you and degrades you and degrades you, but you let him degrade you because you're so weak and so powerless and so helpless. But what you got secretly is you got the devil you've created. You fed yourself to a man. He's become a bigger and bigger beast, and the bigger beast he is, the more you love him. And the more you love him, the bigger beast he is. So you die with the consolation that you are the martyr, and you love, and he's the beast. And you're God, and he's the devil. See, it's the loser's victory. And so therefore, woman has to be watched very carefully about the resentment, because I tell you there's no victory in that either. See, but there's a possible glory and happiness without a man, because if you become a real woman, a real enlightened woman, and hold your ground and be patient with your drunken husband, and not try to preach to him, that quality will rob him of his next justification, which you will give him either by being angry and resentful or servicing his sexual needs in an unhealthy way. When you rob him of that properly, because you love him, and you can't do this anymore, you cannot be a servant anymore, then you rob him of the opiate to his realizations. You're the opiate to his realization. He will start to come out of that and start to seek, because the drug will wear off. Your drug, you behaving as the drug, it will wear off, and he will be stricken. And if he's stricken as a good person, he will love that wife. He will say, that's the best thing that ever happened to me. That's what a man will say about a woman, like that. And they will live happily ever afterwards. Immediately, she will revert from her role of being in charge in a healthy way, to being subject to him in a healthy way. And see how these things work. Or you will drive him off. And if you drive him off, you've lost what you should never have had. Same with that woman. If you drive her off, you will have lost what you never should have had to begin with. It works itself out. Am I making myself clear, or am I getting too complicated?
Yeah, that's
I think
pretty
it's
clear.
Okay.
We have another question here.
Well, here's a
okay.
question here.
I'll go for it.
Well, I wanted to talk to you before
Yeah.
this whole session ends.
Well, come up here then.
Yeah, you're talking about what's going on with me. And my wife has just recently gotten married and went on honeymoon. And she left last.
How long have you been married?
We were married 18 years, had 4 kids.
And so where are the 4 kids? They're all grown?
No, I've got 3 kids with me. She's got 1 child with her.
How old are they?
The one with her is 14. I have an 18-year-old daughter that's living with me because she couldn't live with her mom, but I think she's going to go back to her. And I've got I have a 16-year-old son and a 10-year-old, 9-year-old son.
How long you been listening to me? A long time.
30 years.
Well, that's your problem. You see, your problem is it's too little, too late.
Well, the thing is, I've known you a long time.
I know, but you see, you can know me, or my wife's known me all my life. She hasn't changed yet.
Well, what I was going to say.
Just because you know me doesn't mean to say you've learned anything.
That's true. But
if you were to look, a lot of people in this room know me for a long time. They don't get better very quickly. That's the problem. I'm just hoping because you come, and there's still little links. I'm glad you do come, but the point is, you should really get it like that. I was born knowing it. You were born knowing it. You just forgot it and kept forgetting it along the way.
You're talking about the morals and the right thing.
Yeah, because I would look at you and say, you're a weak man. You're a feeble man. And I'd eat you for dinner if I was a woman. But you being eaten think you're being loved. I love you so much I could eat you.
Well, the reason I wanted to talk to you is because, like, the last week, I'm having all these thoughts in my mind, and I'm sitting down, I'm trying to meditate.
I know, but you have to sit. I didn't say you should get rid of the thoughts in your mind. You need to be detached from the thoughts of your mind. Sort of keep, not that, because your mind will pull you along like in a river, in a very strong stream. And you're just going to have to pull yourself out once in a while and dry off for a second.
Right.
And so in that moment where you dry off, you get a little glimpse, a little immune system boost, see? And then it starts to operate. Then that little boost, and you sit quietly, and before you go to bed, when you wake up in the morning, you prepare yourself so that you don't get upset for that day. See?
Right.
And now, you haven't done that.
Well, the thing is...
But you never succeeded at it. It's because there's a feebleness for the female. There's a feebleness for it. And I said, the quality you are looking for as a man is a continuum. You can't be strong one day and not another. You can't be responsible one day and not another. Which is it? You can't vacillate. Why does my wife love me? If I put her on the radio right now, she says my husband is the best thing that'll ever happen. You ask her, she'll say that. Even though she gets irritated and frustrated, and I have to kick her butt sometimes, don't I, Mary? You see me do it. I talk to her in no certain terms. She speaks out of place. Knock it off. Change the subject. I see that. And she may not like it. I don't care whether she likes it. It'd be good for her to like it, and then it's finished with. I won't have to say it again. But I have to say it again and again and again because she's not receptive to it. You're like that woman. I have to tell you over and over and over and over again, you heard me for 30 years, and you still don't get it. You should have got it a long time ago. Where have you been all this time? Well, now you got this problem, now you come to me. Well, I understand it. When suffering is there, it's always like you have to suffer in order to learn something. And some people don't learn anything when they suffer. They rather be dead than admit they're wrong, and they don't know they're going to be dead and wrong. No, why is it why can't you be like me, who I can see something, and I can see it in other people. I can learn from your suffering. I can learn from her suffering. I can learn from your complaint. I can watch a behavior in you, a selfishness, and have an image in my mind of what emotion that's causing it. I said, oh, I feel like that. It looks like that. I don't want to be that way. I feel, I would sense in my mind, not feel it. I'd know what feeling that made you do that thing, that selfish little thing, or have that look in your eye. I would know instinctively what that is and deal with it and learn from your lesson. You can learn from other people's lessons. How do you think I learned everything I know now? Do you think I've been to hell like everybody else? I've never been there. I don't know what it's like, but I can describe it to you because I'm bringing people out. And every story they tell me, I said, I've seen a little thing of that myself. See? Well, then it goes away. Every time you see a little thing in yourself, it should go away. Why doesn't it go away? I don't know. Maybe you like women too much. Maybe you like servitude too much. Because I say to you, people love servitude. They love to be slaves. And you're slaves to drink, you're slaves to alcohol, you're slaves to stamp collecting, you're a slave to gambling. What aren't you a slave? This whole country is full of slaves. We're not a free country anymore. We are free. The idea of freedom is ego. What was Adam doing when he ate the fruit? Is the idea of being free from God and being his own person, right? Being his own God. Well, so that's what keeps you a slave. The idea that you're free from guilt. People will always take you away. You'll marry someone who'll help you free from guilt. You'll have a friend who will comfort you and keep you free. You have all the wrong friends. All will free you from guilt. Now you've got a president that do the same thing. He's a dictator. A potential one. See? So you're free. The idea that you're free, you think you're being loved, and you think you're free, and then you're being loved freely. No, you're a slave. But you do not know you're a slave, and you do not want to know you're a slave because you see your disheveled self. You'll see your deformed self. You have a deformed self. How old are you?
I'm 58.
You want to fight? I'll beat you up in a second. All right? I'm 81. You want to fight right here? Yeah. Yeah. I can look at you, I'd eat you.
May I make a comment?
I don't mean to be rude.
I understand.
I've got to make
I
you feel
understand.
uncomfortable. My job is to make you feel uncomfortable. I wouldn't want to fight him, though.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
And please take this the right way. When you sit next to Roy, everything that you project is weakness. All right? You almost come over like a battered woman.
You are, you're right.
Before the change begins, you're going to have to see yourself for the pathetic human being you've become. I mean, if I was a woman, you tempt me to detest you.
You would. If I was a woman, I'd hate you. I just want to beat you up right now.
Well, I tell you what I wanted to do. I wanted to come here today.
I know.
No, listen,
But
please,
you can
please
listen to
stop,
it.
stop
Listen
for a
to it.
moment.
Listen to it.
I
Well,
said
what you want, you got to hear this.
Okay, I just said something that I'm holding up a mirror, and you're in a state of rejection to that mirror. You should sit very still right now and let what we're saying to you sink in very deeply.
It doesn't.
Because you're not looking at yourself.
He's looking for answers.
That's right. You're going to walk out of here and nothing will change.
And it never has. You just want something from me, like you want something from a woman. I can't give it to you.
I see the same thing in myself, and you really laid into me last time I was here, and it hit me so hard. I'm just glad you did it. I was glad you did it, but it was painful. It was.
But you're also
really painful.
a feeble lady.
I know.
You know?
Just like him, only a female.
You glory through your pie making.
I know. I know.
And then he said, "Oh, you ate wonderful pies, and you're okay for a week."
I know. I know.
See?
I saw that, and now I'm just.
I want you to be strong.
I know that.
I want you
I
to
know
kick
that.
butt.
You've been very patient with me, and I appreciate that. And I'm sorry that I misused you. That I wanted you to.
How did you misuse me?
I wanted you to save me.
See?
I put you on a pedestal.
And what have I said not to do?
I didn't know how not to do it.
But I said not to do it.
I didn't realize that.
Didn't say how should I not do this? You don't say it. You don't say it. You
all
keep
you can
doing
do
it
is
secret.
wake up and see that you are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I can do.
Yeah.
But I'm appreciative.
Okay, good. Now, don't you see that you also want me to save you? You're sitting here. What do I do now? Please help me.
Well, there was one thing I wanted to ask you. I have a hard time facing my wife. I consider her my wife still, even though she legally got divorced, and she's with this guy, and I can't.
It's a mess.
I know. I can't go. I want to go up and talk to him.
No, it's too late. But but look, as you sit here, you're not worth talking to. You're just a feeble person who's worth nothing.
So I just.
I don't
need to
mean.
look at them.
This is not meant to degrade you.
No, I'm listening to you, and I don't even feel
Pain.
I don't. I just feel like just
See, he
normal.
he doesn't feel the pain.
Is that like
But I want to be honest with you.
I know that. It's honest. That's interesting.
You see, you're using your wife as a distraction from looking at yourself. You use everything to refuse looking at what's wrong. You have to look
You're
at
saying
yourself.
the problem is now the distraction.
Yeah, that's
See,
right.
it's the focus.
Yeah. Forget about your wife. You are not capable of helping her at all. Don't you realize that? The first truth
He
is
wants to keep
what's the
saving. He wants to keep saving, and he's not saved himself.
That's right. That's right. And you're tempting her to stay away from, judge you more, hate you more, and stay away from you. You're driving her into the arms of this other man.
Exactly.
Every move you make is a wrong move.
Right on the money. You want to sit in this chair?
Well, she's already married.
You said it
She's already
strongly.
married.
No.
We rode together out here today.
You take go.
We rode together out here today, yet I said the same things that Ron just said to him. However, I didn't say them with the strength and the courage that Ron has. But even at the same time, he
Well,
blocked
you lack
it out.
cojones too, you know.
He lacked the honesty to look at himself. Even then, he was blocking, and he just went on like nothing was said.
Oh no. So you see that he feels nothing. See, I think most of you sitting here, when I speak about something that applies to you, you feel a little pain.
Yes, this week I've seen the pain in me, the suffering that has been necessary to begin to awaken me. And without that pain,
Nothing's gonna
nothing.
happen. So it doesn't penetrate. So he's been knowing me 30 years, and there are a lot of people like that.
Myself included.
You know, and it's an embarrassment to me because it gives me a bad reputation.
Well, I don't want to make you feel bad.
No,
It's
I know.
up to you.
I never feel bad. You're gonna get up in the morning early to make me feel bad. I can't even feel bad for you.
But I see what you mean. People say, oh, people who go to Roy, they never get any better.
So, what do? I just keep
You die.
Just keep messing.
You die. That's what you do. You suffer and die. I'm sorry.
Well, I still don't want to do any bad to anybody.
Well, I know you don't want to do any bad to anybody, but you don't. But you don't stand up. See, you always want to do good. I understand that, but you haven't got good in you.
I
You don't know.
understand that.
Yeah. See, so you want to do the right thing. I get it. You want to do the right thing, and you've had things in your life. People did the wrong thing to you in your life, and you want to be unlike somebody. Who is it in your life you want to be unlike? I mean, somebody must have been very cruel to you in your life. Your father, your mother, somebody. Somebody must have hurt you real badly to make you into the wimp you are. To try to be good to everybody, be nice to everybody, and to keep peace to everybody. And all you do is empower people to take advantage of you. If Obama wants to talk to Hamamajad, whatever his name is, Marmalade, whatever his name is, yeah. I mean, if he wants, you can't talk to that man. You got to kill him, and you got to talk to him as though you are, and that problem goes away. If I talk to my wife as if all hell's going to break loose, and I got that look in my eye, but not mean. I just feel like she's dealing with concrete. So all you can do is bash yourself against it. They'll back away. And they'll be glad that they did. If you stand up to a bully, and you're 100 pounds, and the bully's 250 pounds, and you look at him straight in the eye, and you're not afraid, he will shrivel. He will shrivel because there's courage he hasn't got. He might even respect you.
Well, Mr. Masters, I don't remember anybody being cruel to me, that cruel to me.
I don't know, were you spoiled then? What has made you so feeble? You got it written all over you.
It could be that when I was coming up, I was just very self-indulgent to myself.
But who allowed you to be self-indulgent? Where was your parents? I don't allow my kids to be self-indulgent. I'd step right in. What's self-indulgent? You can have anything you want, eat anything you want.
I'm talking about sexually.
Sexually? Oh. No wonder there's nothing left of you.
I don't know if this had a bearing on it, but
It has a bearing on it.
I was molested by my
Ah,
my cousin.
how soon? How long ago?
That went on until I was about 8.
Yeah, but you allowed it.
Well, it happened when I was younger, but I didn't even know about it.
How old were you? How old was that?
I think they had her babysit me. And then when I was 8, this was going on, and I just said, I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, have you ever tell anybody?
I told my sister and my cousin.
Go ahead. How old was your sister?
My sister? She's like in her 60s.
How old was she then?
Oh, I didn't know her then. I only knew her when I was 17.
Well, who did you know you could have told?
I told my mother when I was 28.
Well, that's a fat lot of good.
I know. It was already over by then.
Well, what? So, when did it start? When you were a baby?
Well, when I was young enough for them to hire her to babysit.
How old was
me.
that?
I don't remember. I just know that it ended when it was like 8.
Well, so we were 5.
Probably in that time, yeah.
If you take one of my kids, if you take my 5-year-old kid, my 3-year-old kid, and you approach him in any funny way at all, you better watch out. So no, it has something to do with your upbringing, because you're afraid to tell your parents. You didn't. Well, you would be able to tell your parents. You didn't have the spirit to do. You had an affinity and a loyalty to that abuser. You had loyalty to that abuser. Did you not? Listen,
I didn't see your
The
point.
5-year-old child is not stupid.
But I only remember this at around 8, honestly.
Okay. So what did you do when you were 8?
I just
But
told
you
her.
remem-
I just told her.
Did you tell your mother? Did you tell your father?
No.
Why didn't you? Did they threaten to kill you if you did?
No, she didn't do that.
Where's the lady now?
She's she's a schizophrenic. She's got problems. She's still alive.
Yeah? Well, you could put charges against her.
Well, I wouldn't do
Or
that.
you can forget it, or forgive her.
I think I have forgiven her. I mean, I don't think about her.
No. You became subject to the wife who became abused. Your wife is abuser.
Well, my wife was also abused by her father.
Well, yeah, but you picked an abuser to love. And if you would have talked to me about this before, long time ago, we might have saved you a lot of trouble. But you kept it to yourself. You never even told me. And you never. You just sit there in the audience. That's all you ever do is sit there and you listen. And you never open your mouth. And we could have dealt with this a long time ago. Why have you waited for so long?
Well,
I mean, we could have resolved this 30 years ago. And your whole life would have been different. Why wait till now?
well, I don't want to die.
No,
Die and
I'm
go
not
to
saying.
hell.
I'm not saying that you can die and go to hell. But you see, I saw a little emotion in you just now. Huh?
I don't think he's here for help. I see
No, I
him
think- I- no,
looking
I-
for support.
But yes, he's looking for love.
But what kind of love is he looking for?
I know, but he's
right
not.
now?
He's not looking for the right kind.
That's
Because
what I'm
he's not.
talking
Because he's not being forthcoming. See, my wife doesn't talk to me a lot about her past or anything. I had to drag it. I kind of know what it is. But a person who is pseudo self-sufficient, does not like to talk about their faults to anyone. And of all the people my wife could talk to is me. But in my home, it's past the salt. It's almost like everything's all right with her, more so than it's all right. See, everything's all right with me. But it's not with her. She's still willful. She can't have her way. Because she can't have her way, so she has to suppress the anger she feels and then try another day. And it goes on and on and on. But she can't talk about this and get rid of it and stop playing the game. She keeps playing the game. You keep playing the game. There's something about playing this game that makes you comfortable. There's something about being abused that makes you comfortable. And I will tell you what it is. And why people love to be abused. Because and the only way you can cure it is to realize what I'm about to tell you. Only way you're going to cure it. But the whole country, everybody in it, nearly all of us enjoy being abused. Because it's the only identity we have. So here it is in a nutshell, so you understand it. And you're not going to hear this from your psychiatrist or psychologist or your preacher or rabbi. But it is that you are addicted to your abuser. And you have a love-hate relationship with your abuser. And here is the love-hate relationship with your abuser. And it's always the abuser. That's why you can't break free from it, because your identity depends upon this, what I'm about to tell you. Is that when you are abused and you're seduced and you're broken, your soul is displaced. Your allegiance of your soul is displaced from God that you were born from, to love and to be subject to and to be fulfilled by it through all the things you suffer. So in that moment, that's why the vampire goes after old people who are no damn good for the most part. They're easy prey. And I'm old, but I'm not easy prey. See, you're old and easy prey because you haven't lived your life right. That's why you're old and feeble. I'm not old and I'm not feeble. I'm old and I'm not feeble. And I've been through a lot of hell. But let me start again. Is that you have a displaced identity. Identity. Who you are is either from God. In other words, the divine relationship is you cry to Him, He comes. Like a baby cries for mama, she comes. You don't know you're crying. You don't even know you're alive. There's something about you that cries, and a good mother knows. And then you open your eyes one day, as you grow older, and you say, Mama, and Dada. You begin to recognize who it is that you're calling for. But in the beginning, you're calling for what you know not. See? But now, reverse that. You're the duck or the goose. The first thing you see when you're born is the fox, and you think it to be your mother. Now that's the closest thing I can tell you, is that when you're violated, you're awakened, you fall from what it is, and suddenly something awakens in you into a different world, from a different world. And this part of you cannot survive without what corrupted you. The corrupter, this identity comes from the corrupter, and it's a soul. It is a corrupted soul. It's almost like your soul has a barnacle, a parasite attached to it. It thinks through you, and you think it's you thinking, and you want, and you think it's you wanting, and you crave and you think it's craven. You seek fulfillment, and you think of it as fulfillment when it's a fool that's being filled. Now, so this barnacle, this parasite, thinks through you and has control over what you think and want, and God doesn't. And God is the enemy. That's why you drink, you smoke, you take drugs, you kill, you anesthetize your conscience. It's an opiate. All these are opiates to your conscience. The thing inside you doesn't want that. It shrinks and shrivels. It's like pulling that drugs away and putting your opiates down will create agony and screaming inside. But it wouldn't be you that screams. It will be it that screams. But you will think it's you screaming and thinking you're being punished and thinking you're going to hell when heaven is there. Because heaven is hell, isn't it? See? So, it is the thing inside you that cries for love because it is a soul. If you put an ass to that, you know what kind of soul it is. I like that. Some words you can't. There's some things you can't really say nicely.
In Japanese, it's asshole.
So you see, so it cries for the milk of love. But you have to give yourself to that person. That's why he's drained. That's why he looks like he does. He gives himself to that person, and the person will give you what looks like relief and love. It could be the pusher, it could be a wife, but it's got to be a tyrant. And that's what's going to happen to the country when you cry to the government for love. The government will screw you. It's communism. And it creates the problem. So the solution, so in exchange for your life, it gives you the illusion of worth. And that illusion of worth is all you're worth, it's all you've got. And you do not dare to see it otherwise, because then you'd see your disheveled, deformed self. And you've got to see that disheveled, deformed self, and I can't help you, and you can't come to me for help, because I'm going to spin you around. And if you're not ready to be spun around, then I can't help you, because my job is to really give you pain.
Well, that's what I was hoping. That's what I was hoping.
But it got a little bit. Now you got to come again next week. You got to think of that. You got to think about what I just said. You all understood what I just said?
Yes.
You know, but that's the pain you feel when you start to wake up, but it's not you feeling the pain. It's the parasitical self that you've identified with, and you've given yourself to other bigger parasitical self that's ruled you, that you think you're serving and loving.
It's so big. It's so big now.
It's not big, no, you're so small. I used to tell my audience, they think I'm so wonderful. I said, no, I'm not so wonderful, you're all damn stupid. I'm just ordinary. You're just inferior creatures.
I remember you telling me, and I never forgot it, that you'd rather die than face the truth, and that has helped me that you said that to me.
Rather be
Because I
dead
keep
than wrong.
coming back to that. It's like, I see that it's true. I see
And that's
that
the
it's
whole...
That's scary to see that that's true about
It's true.
yourself.
It's very scary to see that you're nothing. But that's humility, isn't it? And the opposite is humiliation. Humiliation in seeing yourself is anger towards anything that would show you.
I'll tell you what's more scary is not seeing it.
Yes, sir. But you only see that when I've seen people die, and I see how they die, and I watch them die, and I've known them for a while, and I know they're just like you. They've never seen a thing. I see them hating me because I didn't save them. It's not my job. I'm not a savior. I'm a messenger about a savior. So, but I also see them. They have these. They think I've seen them die from cancer. I see them, and I would visit them, and I see them thinking very lofty thoughts like heaven and all the rest of it, and they're not going there. And so, as the body starts to lose its energy, which is the energy that keeps the illusion alive, then they start to see the other side. And then they've got a choice between two hells, except one of them's heaven. And heaven feels worse than hell, and they jump into hell. See, the heaven is more painful. It always was. All your life, the heaven was more painful, and hell was less painful, or took you away from that pain and gave you a bit more hell that felt like heaven for a moment. Oh, it's heavenly. I enjoyed that. You see that? And so actually you jump into hell. So you make your choices all the way through life.
That's what I've been seeing in myself this week, those choices that I've made through my life, turning my back from heaven, from God, and choosing to go along with what you're speaking about, that comfortable feeling, that false
Or that
self.
safety place where you don't have to speak up and suffer
where
any
I don't have to
consequence.
feel, I don't have to address what I see around me.
But, you know, we use the word choice, but a truer word is how compulsive we all are. We aren't
Slave.
making
It's a
any
slave.
choices.
It's a
We're a
slave.
slave.
It's a slave's choice.
There never was a choice in it. There never was a choice in it. It was, I was so
But you
drawn
thought
to
you were
it.
choice. You thought you were choosing. For instance, I would say to a person of smoking, I said, you know, you really need to stop that. He said, my doctor told me that, but I like it. I said, you love it? He says, yeah, well, I guess so. I said, but I could stop if I want to. And I don't want to. I said, you can't make yourself want to. See? So you think that's a choice. You think you don't want to stop when you know it's killing you. It's got skull and crossbones on that thing. And everything that's dangerous may have all the warning labels. You see the warning labels on all of the pharmaceutical ads. They're telling you 45 minutes, 45 seconds out of the minute is telling you how bad it is for you. And along with all the other things that are telling you are bad for you, you're taking 25 pills and making yourself sicker. And they don't really care. They have a billion dollar industry on your dying. A little bit of common sense, a little facing your truth in your life, see your failings, know they're rising to the occasion of your need. Oh, thank you, doctor, thank you, doctor, thank you, doctor. And they're all driving Cadillacs and you're becoming slaves. You do not make any choices. You just think you're making choices.
You're being driven.
You think, no, you're confused. I said to the man, he said I could stop smoking if I want to. I said, you cannot make yourself want to. There was an example I was going to give because in my own life I saw something too, but go ahead.
So you have children, and they're stuck between a rock, you, and the mom, the hard place. So it's not all just about you, it's about your children. You have a responsibility in that way. It's not just you. You've got kids, man. You know, your daughter, your 18-year-old daughter, so she's stuck with you, you're contemptible, and she's stuck with mom who's a bitch. Think about that for a while. You got more than just your own selfish, sucked out self to think about.
See, look, when I was young, I was daring, horse riding, skiing, whatever it is, I do it. I do it well. When I got married, I gave it all up. Why did I get married? Why did I give it all up? Because if anything had happened to me, the children would have no father. So that's how I think. And so then I learned that by giving things up, I haven't really given anything up. I've got more. When you give up something that's wrong or selfish, it feels like you're giving it up. It feels like, like you're dying a little bit. Like some advantages, you're denying yourself, it feels like painful. Like you don't want to let it go. It's so good. But when you do it anyway and know that you should, then you open your eyes seconds later and the bad of it, the bad side of it that you thought was the bad side of it is gone, and there's a benefit. And so the benefit is to have a clear mind and a clearer mind and a clearer mind and a clearer mind, and then you become a ballerina. Not me, I'm not a ballerina, but you know what I mean. It's like a ballerina, you float through life and everything's effortless. So when you seek first the kingdom of God, and then all the other things will be added to you. Like Jesus says, why do you fret and worry and do all that sort of stuff? All these things that, the heathens do, they have all those things. But so, behold the lilies of the field, they toil not, neither do they reap. But Solomon in all his glory wasn't arrayed as one of these. What he's trying to tell you is, if you let the life of God flow through you, you can have your cake and eat it. You'll be happy and have everything you need, and never too much or too little. If it's a lot, then you share. If it's a little, you don't, but you're happy. You share the little you have sometimes. But you don't run around helping people. You don't give your money for a sense of worth, and you don't share people because you want to be good to them because they take the shirt off your back. There's a right way of sharing, and there's a right way of not sharing. Say, go to hell. Go help yourself. There's a time but you won't know that time. There's a who, but you won't know who that is. You're completely blind so long as you have no light. There's a song, "I'm blind and now I see." It's a second sight. And it's a gift to have a second, and then you shine. You know Sarah Palin?
Yes.
She has the brightness. Now look at him, he's got no brightness. Look at you, no brightness. No brightness. No brightness, no brightness. You're getting brightness. I've seen it. Brian's getting bright. So Sean is a little bit fat still.
He's working out twice a day. Take two, call you in the morning.
Okay, I'd like to make one other comment to you.
The brightness is going to come back.
It would be so nice right now if your pain wasn't so phony. There would be an opportunity. But even in that, okay, everything about you is still soliciting reinforcement of what owns you.
I don't see it.
I know he doesn't.
I know that, and that's what saddens
But we all
of us.
see it. We all see
Yeah,
it.
we see it here,
Because they've been
but-
through it. They've been through it.
but we can see that you don't see it yet.
It's like a stone. He's like a stone.
Yeah, it's like hitting that wall.
So I just keep meditating?
No, see, there it is.
No,
the
no,
meditation
no,
doesn't
no.
cure anything.
Yeah,
No, the meditation, it brings you to a place.
Yeah.
It brings you to a place if you're ready.
Just quit. Stop. Just literally stop, because everything about you is going to solicit what's reinforcing the wrong.
Do you realize what you're doing right now, though?
No, sir.
You are trying your very best to talk to a stone.
Yes, sir.
I'll think about all this. And
Yeah, thank
try to
you.
come back next
Thank
week.
you. Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, these are sessions, and these are available, by the way. This session will be edited because it's on tape, so it has to come from 3 cameras. And the audio will be available to download for a donation. You don't have to give a donation. You notice when you can go to the donation area where you could download these videos or audios. It doesn't give you a donation, I don't believe. It just says donation, please. And then you can click and put whatever you want or nothing. We're a church. And so we can't pass the plate around. I'm not going to make you feel guilty. See, you either have the grace, because if you have the grace, it's therapy. In that sense, it's better to give than receive. I'm giving you. I don't know whether I receive or not, but I'm giving. I like to be here. I like to do this. I've been doing this for 56 years. 49 of them on the radio. And I don't get tired. I love helping you. And when I see you free, when I see you cry because you see, and I see you repent, and then you don't need me anymore. And I don't go, whoopee, whoopee, whoopee. I'm glad for you. And if you don't, too bad. I don't feel one way or the other. I just got a message. And I like delivering the message. It's like food for me. I'm not getting any particular joy. I just like to see you. I like to watch my grandchildren. They're bright. And they have that brightness. And they grow up with the brightness. And they've got a good Socrates to teach them. And their parents are good in that sense too. I still have to work with my older sons, 55 and 50s and 48s and 49s. And I forget now how old they are. But I have to sit sometimes because they're in the middle of awful stresses, because the stresses of life come with being noble. You see the Mary Palin. See how she deals with the stress? How the world, especially the liberals, who are wicked. Wicked politics.
Really pissed off.
Yeah.
Her smile so
They can't. It's like the devil hates happiness.
I know.
It hates happiness. It hates brightness. And it's snuffed out in school. And I say, take your children out of public school, please. And I've been doing it for years, and nobody does it. They're too busy, two people making a living. One person stay home. Mother, stay home. Pay less taxes. Eat beans. Get happiness. Drive an old car. I used to drive an old Fiat. I drove it backwards and forward to Los Angeles from Disneyland when I came to California, to doing a show for 15 minutes every day with a bashed inside and could only open one door. And I got about 50 miles, 60 miles to a gallon.
Wow.
And I just was 100. That's how I worked. And how do you think I got here today? Because I saved my money to start the foundation. And the foundation never gave me the money back. But that's okay. I love doing what I'm doing. I could have made myself rich. I had to go about it a different way. I'm so glad I'm not like the other churches. I'm so glad I'm not like the other businessmen. I'm so glad I'm not running around trying to raise money and having special raising and hiring people for fundraising. I get what I get. And it isn't a lot. But so far, so good. Although we've lost, in the last couple of years, over $500,000. I've been saving that for soldiers. Now I just got an order for 2,000 CDs from a whole division of men. A whole division has ordered 2,000. I have to give them free. And it's growing. It'll be 1 million. I don't know where I'm going to get the money from, but I want to give our soldiers the CDs, specially designed by Colonel Monaco, with the help of Colonel Monaco of Patriot Outreach. I want to give them these CDs. I don't want to charge them for it. There's a website, besides my website for civilians, there's one called patriotoutreach.org. So soldiers can go get there, but I also give them away too, because it's my voice on there. And it's Colonel Monaco's, the valuable advice that he gives also that's necessary for the soldiers I didn't know about. And but now I've given 16,000 already away this year. We just began. That's a lot of money. And so but now they're asking for the military is asking for civilian versions because they have people broken in war and to help them to recover from post-traumatic stress disorder. See, we're making that. And so, but the demand is going to be very rare. I can barely support myself. That's why I ask everybody to pitch in. But most of all, I know I'm going overtime here. I'm only supposed to do this an hour every day, and now it's 2 hours and 10 minutes. But I want men to be gentlemen. And I want men to realize that they have to be the origin of love in their home, the source of it. And it's a kindness and courtesy. It's a gentlemanliness, a genteelness, but it's also no. Say no, you can't do that. That's it. Solid. And they're looking for a chink in your armor, all of them. The kids too. It's not there. If it's there, they won't give up. And you will. Thank you for listening.